What we sell is document automation software. So we have software that you can take documents of any kind and we turn them into data. So if you scan a document with a desktop scanner or at a photocopier, or it comes in a document from email or a document you create in Microsoft Office or a fax, it doesn't matter. We bring it in and we have all the software that allows you to process that. So a couple of examples of that would be if you're processing invoices. So invoices come from all these different vendors and they all look different and have information on them in different places. Our software allows you to teach the software what to look for in an invoice. So if an invoice comes from Time Warner, we know where to grab all of the information off of it. And so when we store it in the database, then you can quickly retrieve the document. But also all the data that you need to push into your accounting system to pay that is all happening from within the way that we process the documents. Also, like anytime you create like a Word document or an Excel document or anything in Outlook, you can write from there, you can save it into the system also. So you don't have to print a paper. So you can create virtual files and either create new ones that you're storing these to or update existing files. So for example, if you had an HR file and there was a document that a letter needed to be sent to you and it was created either automatically through a mail merge or through just creating a random one-off document, then you could save it right into your HR file. So searching for content is just like searching for something on the web. So not only is the data that we pulled off of it, but we also build a database then of all of the characteristics of the document. So I can search for the ways I have it filed, any kind of content in the body of it. If I make any notes about it or on it, all of that is searchable. We have mobile capabilities, so you can retrieve documents and complete work that's assigned to you from iPads, Droid devices, Blackberries. So let's say, for example, I'm a contractor and I'm on site at a job and an invoice for some materials needs to be approved. I would get an email, more than likely, and when I click in the email, it'd be a link that takes me to the invoice. I can review the invoice, and right from there, I have work assignments I can approve, reject, or route it to somebody else. Do all of that on the go, right from the mobile device. This is where we map data, so like I say, turning documents into data and then being able to share data saves lots of time and errors by not having to re-enter any of that data. Probably the biggest thing that we do is workflow automation. So I was just working with a local bank today, and we are helping them set up an automated process for mortgage loan files. So an online application is taken, it automatically flows into the system. We then extract the data off of it, and we route that for someone to review. After they have reviewed it, if they decide that they want to proceed with it, when they press a button, our system automatically generates an email that goes back to the borrower or customer and lets them know that it's being processed. And so then as other documents are created out of their system, they automatically flow into this, and ultimately when all of the documents are created and stored, the system knows what documents are required, and then it would route it to underwriting for them then to prepare for a closing. Upon closing then, all of the documents are then stored and audited because we know what documents are in the file and which ones are required. Where the real cost savings comes then is all of the updates. So perhaps once a year they need verification that the insurance has been renewed, or that the taxes have been paid, or if there's collateral that you know, the insurance has been paid on that, if it's a piece of property or whatever the case may be. But the system can continuously monitor that, and if something doesn't occur, then it can notify both the users as well as the borrower that, you know, there's something that needs to be taken care of in the file. Today that's all manual, and so there's a lot of labor that can be taken out of that process. And not only does it become more efficient, but like I say, it is more efficient, and there's a lot less errors. So same thing as, you know, happens with like accounts payable is a big user of this. So invoices come in. If there's a purchase order that's been issued to that vendor, we would have taken that purchase order data and loaded it to the system. We'll read the invoice and we'll try to compare, and if they match, then we'll go ahead and take all the data off of the invoice and pass it into their accounting system to pay automatically. If it doesn't, then we can route it to someone so they can figure out what the issue is and resolve that. So, and we can even read amounts. So if an invoice is greater, we may have a rule that if an invoice is greater than $10,000, that it requires a approval by the CFO. So it would automatically get routed to the CFO. And we do this with hiring processes as well. So if we also have Eforms, so electronic forms, such that if, let's say you wanted to apply for a position with this company, you go to their website, you see a form, you fill out the form. When you submit it, and the form can also allow you to attach a resume to it. When you submit that, it then takes the data off of the form, builds an applicant's record in FileBound, stores the resume in that record, automatically routes it to someone based on some rules, and then allows them to do an initial review. If they decide that they want to try to schedule an interview with that applicant, it can then automatically send an email back to the applicant requesting an interview, you know, schedule an appointment for an interview. And then the whole approval process is all managed within the workflow. If ultimately, if the applicant is hired, it can then auto-create all of the onboarding forms that the applicant needs to fill out. And then, because they're generated as forms that have data merged onto them, we can create unique ID barcodes on them, so if they need to be scanned, it knows exactly what forms they are and which employee's file they need to be put in. So the whole value that we deliver is we deliver efficiencies, you know, through automation.